If you are enjoying this podcast and other podcasts on the Dragon Wagon Radio Network, be sure to check out the Dragon Wagon Shop. Awesome t-shirts and mugs from your favorite shows so you can tout your podcast pride, all while supporting your favorite indie podcast network. And make sure to check it often for new items and limited time designs. So shop now at dragonwagonshop.com and get your dragon swag on.
In a mythical land of magic beasts and blades known as Burbank, California, an independent podcast network sets off for the greatest adventure of their pitiful lives. This is Dungeons and Dragon Wagon.
Hello and welcome to Dungeons and Dragon Wagon, the Rhyme or Reason, a D&D inspired homebrew role-playing game recorded and released out into the world for your entertainment. And man, I really hope that you're entertained. As always, I am your host, Jake Lloyd. I am the co-founder of Dragon Wagon Radio and host of podcasts like Elaborate and What the Heckonomics, amongst others. And I am playing the half-orcan fighter named Junk. Say hi, Junk. Hey. And to my left, of course, is the acquaintances in adventure. First, she is a writer, a poet, and a friend to the animals. Not coyotes, but most animals. Please follow her on Twitter and Instagram at Alexandra Hoy. It's Alexandra Hoy.
Hello. You know, coyotes are not an enemy of mine now.
No, they're
by
not?
default.
Oh, okay. I've just assumed. And of course, Alexandra is playing the human ranger Adeline. Say hi, Adeline.
Hi.
Well, what's the matter? You seem so distressed.
I mean, you know, I'm kind of sore. I had quite a big battle recently, and
yeah, you got swept. They listened to the dude on the outer ring of the Karate Kid movie and swept the leg.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
I got way too long to get that very obvious reference that everybody knows out.
I do not know what you're referencing, but I agree.
Perfect. And to her left, of course, he is the man with no foe. He is a director, filmmaker, and he is as tall as he is well-dressed today. Please follow him on Twitter at Matt_Hingstman, on an Instagram at mhingstman. It's Matt Hingstman.
Howdy.
Wow, you came out with a howdy today.
Yeah.
I feel like your salutations are always something slightly different, and I respect that.
I try to mix it up.
I think mushy mushy is my favorite one.
I mean, that's just how I answer the phone all the time.
That's not how you answer it when I call you, because you don't answer it. And of course, Matt is playing the Shadow Elf Rogue Matson. Say hi, Matson.
Hi.
Matson, how are you feeling? Because I feel like it's been a little while now. You've been through some stuff. You have possession of the child, sort of, that you were after. How you feeling?
Feeling all right. You know, every time I think we've kind of gone as far as we can go in terms of learning new things, we keep on going deeper.
It's interesting how that happens.
Yeah.
One might say that you're living a story. And to Matt's left, she is back once again, our guest of Quest. She is a improviser and writer and co-host of Myth Understood, which you might be familiar with. Back for a second week, portraying Layla. Please follow her on Instagram and Twitter at The Sarah Oliver. It's The Sarah Oliver.
Guten Tag.
Ooh. Oh, she one-upped you, Matt. She Guten Tagged this bitch.
Yes.
Sarah, how'd you feel about your first outing?
Oh, it was spectacular. I didn't get cursed or die, and
that was a concern going into it?
yeah.
Like immediately?
Immediately. I was like I'm going to get cursed.
Your first roll was going to be like, and you're cursed. You have the curse of death, and then you die immediately.
I die immediately, and I have to sit.
Well, Layla's a badass. She knows like some serious like Captain America kung fu style moves and shit, and she's got this spirit dragon that lives in her gauntlet.
Yeah. Could this somehow be my demo reel? Can I just play them? I go to all the movie studios, listen to what I can do.
I do feel like out of all of our guests that your character is the most powerful that we've immediately met.
Totally.
Like right off the bat. Yeah. She's like, oh, I saved your ass from a spider and I have magical items.
Well, you know I murdered Brendan McKay in real life, right?
You've murdered
the
real Brent, not Idlewild, the character he played, but the actual Brendan McKay is dead now.
Yeah. So
Well, rest in
just
peace.
know that coming on the show that
Brendan. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
And let's, of course, now hand the reins off to the creator of these lands to bring us back into the action. He is a writer and the co-host of Myth Understood alongside our guest of Quest, Sarah Oliver. He is our almighty DM. Follow him on Instagram at @ThePaulBianchi. It is the Paul Bianchi.
안녕하세요.
All right.
I knew his face was holding something in.
I knew his face was holding something
I know
in.
that little face.
That's what it's going to say on Paul's tombstone. It's going to say his face was holding something in the whole time.
I was deciding between Mandarin or Korean.
Oh, we get it. You're intelligent.
Right.
Move on.
Right.
I just watched Animaniacs as a kid. That's all they had the whole hello song.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you remember that? Well, I'm pretty thrilled to reveal more of this land to you today, and so I'm ready to jump back into this land. How about you?
Yeah, get me out of this cave.
One
All right.
second.
Oh,
Okay, yes.
all right. So we're jumping into chapter 6.2, Effigies to the Lost. And away we go! The steam lift of Temushalin Shrine was a long-forgotten marvel of dwarven ingenuity. Natural heat rising from the planet's core, combined with enchanted mist, runes, aqueducts, and the clinking chain, married the schools of engineering, geoscience, sculpture, and magic to create something truly remarkable. When Layla Arrhenius pressed her ancient shield against the cavity of the central pillar, the giant circular stone slab lifted upwards with the deafening groan and a lazy sigh of steam. The distant light of sky grew nearer, and you felt the need to look upwards towards your means to escape. You now find yourselves rising above the surface in the very center of an ancient structure, known to locals as the Gondra Pit. But it's no longer a pit. As the lift aligns perfectly with the circular hole, when your ride comes to a stop, your eyes adjust to the sudden influx of sunlight.
I haven't seen sunshine in like a month.
Monson puts his hood over his head.
I think I know this place.
Layla removes her shield from the pillar and moves her steely glance to Orny.
Okay.
Orny starts walking down the steps that are directly in front of him without waiting for anyone. And he does this because he wants to look at the side of the temple as he's walking down the steps. Everything's very overgrown with vines and leaves, but looking to his left, he sees a runic shape that is familiar to him. It is the shape of a Y, but the stem of the Y is crossed with a line. And he's like, oh, I know exactly where we are. We're in the ruins of Dagra.
The ruins of Dagra. What's that?
Remember that there was that song I sang about Dagra burning to the ground.
Oh, that's right. You sang. It was a really sad song as we were walking through another burned town.
Exactly. This is a very sing-songy occurrence. We had the song that Pharaoh sang about Layla. Apologies for bringing that up again, but
What happened to this place? How did it burn down? Do you know?
no one really knows. But one thing that was known was there was this ancient temple that was near it that had this incredibly deep circular pit in the center of it, and no one dared venture inside of it because they believed that the inside was cursed. But now we've all been on the inside, and we clearly know it was indeed cursed.
Yes.
They were right. Yeah, they were right. They were definitely right. Junks is following behind Orny and making his way down the side of this pyramid-esque item. And I want to roll for perception. Critical failure. That sun is really bright.
Yeah, that sun shines directly in your eyes as you look ahead of you. It's a wonder that you haven't fallen down the stairs. Good thing I didn't make you roll for a clumsy check.
Thanks.
Well, Orny, where's the closest active city? Maybe that's our next step.
Oh, well, we would be close to Valkyrie. You know, I'm concocting a bit of a plan here. You know, at first I thought everything was lost when we didn't show up in Silverhammer. I was terrified about where we would end up. And now that I know we're close to Valkyrie, I would love your opinion on this matter. But we asked the King of Norrens to send his troops down from Norrens. If we go to Valkyrie, we could ask the same of the elves that live there. Any unity in this land in this time of crisis, I think, could only assist in this mission. Would you not agree? Perhaps we should not go to Silverhammer if we are this close to Valkyrie.
I can't promise that the elves there are going to be happy to see a shadow elf like myself.
Oh, no, they absolutely abhor the shadow elves.
I don't know anything about where you've been or who you are, but I think Orny's the man with a plan. Everyone listen to Orny.
You know, you remind me of this pirate lady I once knew named Carolina. She and I went on adventures. Eventually, she broke my heart, but I think it would be a fun ride before then.
No, it will be.
All right. Well, let's make our way out of this burned town from that sad song and find this Valkyrie place.
Yes, in the song about the burning of the village of Dagra, the trading post survived. Perhaps there's truth to that. Perhaps there's something of note inside.
Do you have any idea where this trading post might be?
I would assume it's the only building still standing, so we should keep our eyes out for that.
Let's make our way down.
The party indeed makes its way down to ground level. You find that the soil is very fertile, and there's a lot of overgrowth from the ash that remains from this fire that occurred hundreds of years ago. To your left, you find the pasture with an old burnt fence. If you are still familiar with this song, The Village of Dagra, you remember that the fire began in the pasture. To the right, you find the remaining foundations of buildings, including Town Hall. There are some key stones to this building, one that says in Old Common Tongue Town Hall. But you don't really see anything of note, but standing ahead of you towards sort of the center of this town is an old well.
Junk walks over and leans down the well.
You can see that the well is full of water.
Anybody thirsty?
I'm so thirsty. I've been living in a cave.
But there was so much water down in that cave.
Swimmy water.
Cave
Yeah,
water?
she had to collect it as it seeped down from the wall. So
Yeah.
she's been
Stalactites.
I've been-
full of algae.
I've been licking the walls.
Layla leans down into the well, and she's able to reach in with her tankard and pull out some fresh rainwater from the well.
That's a good idea, actually. Adeline fills her tankard as well.
Junk reaches into the well and scoops up a little cup of water and holds it to Scampersan to drink.
Were you going to wash your hand first, boss?
Oh, come on now. Just drink it. You're thirsty.
Fine.
Looking further down the road, you can see that there are what appear to be sculptures of humanoid forms and shapes, and they are dressed or wearing tattered remains of clothing.
What are those? She starts walking toward the sculptures.
The closest statue to you in your proximity is of a male elf, and he is wearing traditional yet rusted elven armor.
Monson is examining the armor, touching it, pressing it, giving it a whack, and want to see if it looks like this could fit on me.
Yeah, roll for investigation on that.
6.
The armor is indicative of something that an adventurer rather than a warrior would wear. Only a breastplate with designs associated with elves of the region. The positioning of the sculpture's arms, however, would prevent you from removing it. It is also notably wearing a necklace that appears locked beneath the sculpture's flowing hair.
Hey, Junk, you got your hammer on you? Wonder if you could give this thing a smash.
All right. 1, I always have my hammer on me. And 2, I can always give something a smash.
Oh, me too.
Wait, no, why do you want to smash it?
I'm just trying to break it apart, and maybe I'll get this armor for myself.
Wait, hang on, just a second now.
Is it me or do these look like stone people?
I was thinking the same thing. Adeline gets closer to it, and I want to roll for insight.
Uh-huh.
16!
Nice.
The finest sculptors in all the northern lands used to congregate at a festival in Biteport. Adeline's mother used to take her along to view and bid upon the art. In fact, it's one of the few good memories you have with your otherwise petty and cool mother. The work on display here in Dagra blows the anatomical knowledge and skill of any sculptor in Biteport out of the water. You are convinced that these are not sculptures, but the result of dark magic, the likes of which you have never seen before.
These aren't sculptures at all. These are people. Any idea what could have done this?
Oh, yes. There's a number of ways that a man could be turned to stone in our land. There are the Gorgons to the southeast, and there are a few potions, among them notoriously an anti-erectile dysfunction potion gone wrong.
Oh, anti.
I mean, this is more than just the one man turned to stone, though, Orny. This is an entire village turned to stone.
That is upsetting, isn't it?
And there's no way to undo what's been done to these people?
I could try the wand that I found down below. Worth a try, right?
Oh, yes, give that a shot.
Take out the wand and I look at it. I look at everybody else and I imagine in my mind that I'm freeing this person from their stone prison and I point the wand at it.
And I duck.
And I cover my groin.
When you point the wand at the sculpture, a soft, gentle wind billows out from its tip. Upon contact, the stone flesh gives way to the fleshy pink skin of an elven man. Terror, still alive on his face, he manages to get out, "Hind you!" before his skin again turns gray. But this gray is the gray of decaying, dying flesh. His eyes shrivel and roll back into his skull. His cheeks sink in, and he collapses into a dead, rotting corpse at your feet.
Did he say bind you?
Behind us.
Behind you.
And then Junk immediately whips around.
There is nothing.
Oh.
One might assume that that was the last sentence he was going to say before being turned to stone. Junk.
Oh, I get it. Yeah, that makes sense.
He doesn't really get it.
That poor man. How horrible. All these people stuck this way on the brink of death.
Shall we keep going?
Do you want this armor then?
Yes. Yeah, I'm going to grab that armor and the necklace.
You pick it up. You're not going to apply it, or are you going to...
Can I investigate the necklace first?
Sure, yeah.
16.
The necklace is a necklace of stealth that adds +3 to your stealth rating
my goodness.
if worn.
I'm going to put it on myself.
You gain +3 in stealth.
Sweet. And I'll grab the armor and put that on also.
Exchanging your armor for this new breastplate increases your armor class by 1.
Good thing we know about that wand, though, so if any of us are stoned.
If I'm not mistaken, that wand must be a wand of soft. A spell that speaks for itself. If you are hard, it will make you soft.
Let's not use it on you, then.
Oh, you. Shall we continue on to see if we can find this trading post?
Yes, sir.
Walking onward, you find more foundations of burnt down buildings and more stone sculpture statues of stoned people. Also, to your left, you find one more building that actually gives Orny a bit of pause when he sees it. He looks down and he has stepped on what appears to be an old tin sign.
Oh, watch your step there, buddy.
Look at this. It is, it says orphanage in Old Common Tongue.
Oh, creepy burned down orphanage. Can we keep walking?
I second that.
But there might be something here of note.
Like a creepy burned child?
Well, orphan skulls, orphan tears are alchemical ingredients. They might. I don't think the tears would be around here, but maybe an orphan skull.
That's kind of twisted, Orny, but if you think it's something that we need.
I don't associate the spirit of a child to be still inhabiting the skull. However, maybe I'm wrong, because if it's an alchemical ingredient, there must be something special about it. Let's see here. And he walks over, he pulls out a small trowel and starts digging through the dirt in front of the orphanage.
Junk starts walking through the rubble of the orphanage, and can I guess, would it be perception or investigation? I just want to look around. I guess it's investigation. I'm specifically looking for something. 4.
Junk does not do well when he's just looking around this orphanage. However, Scampersan chatters in his ear.
Oh, wow. Would you look at that, boss?
What do you see?
Scampersan points out that there's something glinting in the earth towards the chimney of the orphanage.
Junk walks over to it.
You see that there's a small talisman made out of metal that's sitting in the ground.
What's this?
Pick it up.
There is a carving of a giant reaching up towards the heavens in this talisman.
Hey, Orny, I found this.
And then I hold it up and show Orny.
Orny's like, oh, what do you have over there? And he's holding an orphan skull in his hand.
I found this talisman.
Well, let me see it. Let's see if it has any importance. He sort of furrows his brow at it, then calls over Layla. Layla, might you know what this is?
I'm covering my eyes because I don't want to look at the creepy kid skulls.
All right, I'll put that in my pack, and here, let's walk over to you then. And he starts leading Junk over to Layla.
Okay, let me take a look at this. Rolling for knowledge. 17, I'm a smart little girl.
When Layla looks at the talisman, she recalls her mother's research notes on the ancient sky tillers, giants that reached up into the heavens and pulled out the forces of lightning, rain, hail, and snow. Her mother theorized that there was a strong correlation between sky tillers and Amek. In this moment now, you feel compelled to agree.
Maybe there's a connection between the god Amek and the sky tillers.
Oh.
What a novel idea. beauty and brains, I see.
And a vagina.
Oh, don't think I haven't missed that.
Jeez.
Are my pants open again? Oh, bloody hell.
While they're all talking about vaginas and whatnot, Junk has reclaimed the amulet, and he's sort of mesmerized by it, staring at it.
Oh, that's a real beaut you got there, boss. You know, it looks like it's genuine gold.
Oh, you don't say.
Yeah, and it's a real testament to Amek because, you know, he's a good friend of Rasa. They go way back.
Oh, really? I didn't think gods and goddesses were the hang out together at the tavern types. Hey, Scamp, let me ask you a question. Why do you follow Rasa?
Well, because she's the Supreme Earth Mother. She looks after us little folk.
Yeah, but isn't it at a cost?
Well, we have to pay her tidings, but she deserves it. She's the best.
Yeah, she's a real delight as long as you're killing something in her name.
And now you get it.
Just ever since I got tangled up with you and Rasa, just the way the group, Orny, looks at me, it's the pits.
Junk, who are you talking to?
Don't you know by now? I have a squirrel. He sits on my shoulder. I talk to him all the time.
She was drunk when you guys first met. I think she blacks out that memory.
I do.
Junk then hands the amulet over to Orny.
Here you go, Orny. Looks like pure gold.
Oh, thank you very much. I shall treasure it.
And then he turns around and he's going back to sort of sifting through the rubble by himself.
There is nothing else of note to be found aside from an old doll.
Aw.
Junk ignores it.
Well, I believe that's the only intact orphan skull I could find, and let's move on. I believe I see something in the distance.
Trading post, perhaps?
Perhaps it's the only thing standing, so let's hope.
Yes, let's.
Orny leads the party towards this distant structure. As you get closer, the ground becomes increasingly littered with large bird craps. Matson.
Oh boy.
As well as large black feathers. Orny pauses and picks up an inky feather the size of an ostrich plume. And then he adjusts his spectacles as he investigates it with like a worried look on his face.
Hey, Orny, I got a bird book on me. Do you need any help from my bird book and figuring out what that is?
You know, I've seen you reading that book quite avidly.
Yeah, I read it as much as I can. I'm almost expert in all bird types that are related to cuckoo birds.
All right, that's unusual. Can you hand it to me?
Yeah, here you go.
Junk hands him the bird book.
Orny opens the back of this bird book and he finds a section. This is what I was looking for. Ahem. The eastern blue-billed cockatrice is a terrifying specimen. Boasting an impressive 24-foot wingspan, it is the largest and most ferocious of its species. Of course, most notably, and this is what I was looking for, the cockatrice is known for its deadly gaze, which can turn the races of Rymor into stone with a single look. As such, the fowl is known to nest near sources of magic from which it draws its power. Approach with extreme caution. Any being turned to stone will die quickly, lest the condition is reversed. Oh, and there's also some old wives' tale about that if you expose it to the sound of a rooster crowing, it will die.
A rooster?
But how does a little rooster kill something of that size?
I don't know. Haven't you ever heard a cock scream in the morning?
Oh, I'd like to.
Yee!
Oh. Anyways, last I checked, none of us have a pet cock, so let's hope it's long gone.
Oh, I'm sure it is. I mean, if it was nearby, I would have sensed it. I do have the gift, you know. Let's keep moving.
As you step in fresh bird crap.
Junk just completely ignores it and keeps trudging forward.
And as the party draws closer to the trading post, it is surrounded by a protective moat. There are signs of a bridge, however, it exists only as charred remains. The moat is only 12 feet across, so one could feasibly run and jump across, except for Orny, because he has little baby legs.
Layla, we've heard tales and seen with our own eyes your legendary prowess in battle. Do you also have legendary jumping ability?
Sure. I mean, I'm a big shield surfer. I don't think I could catch a wave here. But I can take a look at this moat and investigate if we can swim across it or leap across it. Would you like me to?
That would be excellent, Layla. Thank you.
Oh, Orny, you're so supportive.
I try to be.
Layla's going to check this moat out. She only has eyes for Orny. She rolls a 7.
Well, that's enough. It's daylight out, and she can see into this very murky old moat. There are actually stone bodies in the moat as well. It's about 16 feet deep, but only halfway filled with water. So if you jumped in, you wouldn't be able to pull yourself up to the other side.
And the stories that they told us in my childhood, there were these super beings, and one of these beings was a large, very strong metal man, and at times he was able to pick up a smaller animal-like friend of his and spin and toss him a great distance. Do you think something like that could be done here?
Are you suggesting that I throw Orny? Because after what happened with Kelber Selfin, I do not feel comfortable.
And let's not mention what happened just recently in the cave when you tried to give me a boost.
I thought I felt a spider on my arm.
Yes, I still have a knot.
Maybe you're right.
Why don't we all look around the area and try and find something to help us get across?
Yes, that's an excellent idea. Let's go do that right now.
Yeah, sounds good
I'm
to
in
me.
if Orny's in.
So since the entire party is searching in very tall grass, I'm going to need everyone to do a survival check.
Yeah, boy. Natural 20 for Junk.
17 for Matson.
14.
I had a 1,
Yes, even though
I commanded us.
Even though Adeline suggests we do the search party, while Adeline does find a sufficient length of board, when she picks it up, there is a snake on the other side, and it bites her in the ankle for 1 damage.
Oh, no.
Ah, stupid snake. She picks it off of her ankle and throws it.
The snake falls into the moat when she throws it.
After she throws the snake, I'm assuming it's a tiny bit heavy, but so she drags it back with her and yells to Junk, "Hey Junk, can you lend me a hand here?"
Oh, great.
Junk walks over and takes the board from her.
Oh,
Layla runs
Well, that
up
was
and
easy.
starts sucking on her snake bite.
whoa! Oh my! What's happening?
Adeline gets +1 arousal. And Orny
Adeline's
says,
feeling a little warm.
Orny says, "I don't believe that was a venomous snake that bit you."
You never know.
At this point, Junk is standing the board up vertically on the very edge of the moat, and he's going to let it fall to the other side in hopes that it catches and it's long enough.
You know that's a clumsy check.
Anyone else?
Why did I
am I
ask
doing
Junk's
this?
help?
Yeah.
Hey, that's a 14.
It hits the other side with a nice soft thump, and it feels like, hey, this would be possibly secure. Orny looks to you all and says, perhaps I, as the idiot, will be the most suitable in trying this out first. And Orny marches handily right across to the other side and does I believe what a cheerleader calls a herky when he reaches the other side with his hands out, just as a little kick in the air. Like, yes, I made it.
Way to go, Orny.
I think for obvious reasons, I should probably go last again.
So since the rest of you may challenge the structural integrity of the board, you'll all have to roll an acrobatics check as you cross.
All right, I'll give it a try. 13.
Matson makes it across, not to be outdone, finishes his dismount with a round off.
Oh my. Adeline kind of cautiously steps her foot onto it at first, oh, is this going to support me? 11?
Adeline also makes it across, not trying to be fancy. She just reaches the other side. The wobbliness of the warped old piece of wood did not make her feel comfortable enough to do anything showcasing her skills.
More of the wiping the hand across the forehead. Whew.
Woo! Layla stretches her glutes, getting ready to cross the plank. 7.
With a lack of grace that you have not attributed to Layla thus far, she makes her way across almost like she's doing a shaky leg dance. It is vibrating way more than it needs to as she's making her way across.
She does not like water.
I have a fear of water because there's a song about me drowning to death.
Nevertheless, she makes it to the other side and finishes in the spirit of Orny and Matson by doing a somersault.
I guess that leaves me.
I got an idea. I get up my rope and I have Orny and Adeline and Layla all grab on, and I toss the rope over to Junk just in case.
Do you guys think that you can all hold me if this board breaks?
We'll try our best.
Good enough for me.
And he ties the rope around his waist like he did in the cave earlier. And he's going to strut across this thing because he's got a +4 in acrobatics, and I think he's going to be fine.
Yeah.
That is a 4 + 4. It's an 8.
Oh, wow. So he does indeed make it across, but on the way, the creaking of this old wooden board makes it evident that Junk is about the limit of the weight that it can handle at one time. Thank goodness you didn't all try at once. Junk makes it across, and it's like you all just finished a work-mandated team-building exercise, and you just all like shake hands and high-five and
Good
smile,
job, guys.
smile weakly.
I untie the rope, hand it back to Matson,
Well, shan't we?
and then I turn around and start walking towards the store.
In front of the trading post is a sun-bleached flag, tattered by the elements. The unity of cultures in the design suggests that Dagra was once a home to amicable trade and peace among the people who call the Softlands home. And as you reflect on this, a dark shadow suddenly blocks out the sun. A deep black wing, matching the slew of fallen feathers previously seen, stretches up as a large beast with a blue bill and talons clambers over the thatched roof. The bird book did the cockatrice absolutely no justice. It is like a vulture fucked a dragon. It is awful looking and emits a hideous squawk. And so you must all roll for initiative.
That's 17 for Adeline.
17 for Monson.
11 for Junk.
5 for Layla.
The cockatrice is perched at the ready on the rooftop, and it is Matson's turn to act first.
Is there any kind of awning or anything I could run underneath?
One could feasibly run directly into the trading post right now without directly engaging with the cockatrice.
I'm going to try that.
Okay.
5.
You run towards the front door of the trading post. You give a hefty kick. The door breaks off of its hinges. It's a very old, rotted door at this point. However, since it's such a low roll, when you're inside, you have to wait for your eyes to adjust in order to see anything.
Right.
And we move on quickly, and it is Adeline's turn.
Just for the fun of it, I'm going to use some charm arrows and see if I can take control of this giant bird.
Wow, okay.
I don't know what that's going to require, but let's find out. That's a 19 and 4.
Wow.
Wow. Unfortunately, you would have to challenge the cockatrice's saving roll of a natty 20.
So close.
What was your damage, though?
Damage was 4.
Adeline's arrow whizzes through the air and makes contact with the juncture of the left wing and the cockatrice's body for a full 4 damage.
Yeah.
The beast, however, remains unfazed, like, that didn't hurt. And it responds in turn by inflating a portion of its gross, veiny neck. Its eyes then flicker and emit a strange, rolling fog. Everyone now except Matson and Layla must roll a saving throw.
11.
7.
After this fog rolls past the party, we find that both Junk and Orny have been turned to stone.
Well, as usual, it's up to the ladies to save the day.
It is Layla's turn to act.
Well, I've got my Drake on my gauntlet that will set it on fire.
Sounds good to me.
I think I should try that. A 2 and a 1 plus 2 fire.
The cockatrice is weak against fire. The cockatrice takes 10 damage from Layla as the dragon leaps off of her gauntlet, flies towards it, and does another swooping strike, breathing fire in a line down the back of the cockatrice's neck.
Yes.
The cockatrice will retain fire damage from these turns here on out. And it is Matson's turn to act.
Matson tries to get some courage and runs out back onto the battlefield. And as he's running, grabs the wand, thinks real hard about unpetrifying Junk, and he points the wand at him. 17.
Looking very much like a cast member from Harry Potter, you run out of the doors of the trading post, whip out your wand from your lapel, aim it squarely at Junk, and almost feel the need to shout something as you do it, but the wand just acts based off of your baser instincts. Junk feels the life return to his face. The soothing blast wafts over him and his skin returns to his healthy green. Unfortunately for Scampersand, who was caught in the blast, he has a stone squirrel on his shoulder right now.
Oh, thanks, Matson.
It is Adeline's turn to act again.
Seeing that her charm arrows did nothing, she switches gears and aims with a fire beetle gland arrow. That is a crit fail for 2.
Adeline's fire beetle gland arrow shoots up over the cockatrice, and it makes contact with the water tower that is behind the trading post and sets the roof of that water tower on fire, which is just a tragedy in a town where this is the only building that survived. You have now set the roof of the water tower on fire.
Oops.
The cockatrice has to recharge his stone glare, so you guys don't have to worry for at least a turn for him to attempt to do that skill again. He does take 1 damage from the burning fire that he received from Layla, and he leaps up and does a swoop towards Adeline. Adeline, you need to give me another saving throw.
17.
You narrowly miss being picked up by the talons of the cockatrice that sweeps over you, and instead it bats you with his tail feathers, lashing you for 2 damage as it sweeps up and repositions itself, again landing on the roof. It is Junk's turn to act.
Adeline, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. Did you see that? It almost picked me up.
Yeah, I saw it. It was crazy. It would have made for an awesome story if you did, though.
Junk, it would have killed me.
Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, a good story for the rest of us, then.
And with that, Junk, realizing he probably can't get close enough to utilize his warhammer on the cockatrice, he reaches for the ornamental pike that they found in the brothel, and he holds it up to Adeline.
Hey, Adeline, I know that you really liked this pike when we found it, and I've just been holding it for you, but I feel like maybe...
Just throw it!
Oh, okay, great.
And Junk wants to throw the pike at the cockatrice like a spear. That is a 7.
Ooh. When Junk pulls out this ornamental pike, he takes an expert Olympian-looking stance as he tosses it in the air, and it flies up, and the cockatrice does that thing that birds sometimes do where it's in a squatting position, and then it stands and does like a split thing, and it goes right between the cockatrice's legs and lands straight up in the roof.
Well, it looks like you need a warrior to beat this cockatrice. Here I come! Pridefall.
Layla has a special move labeled on her character sheet as Pridefall. This move means that anytime that anyone in the party fails or whiffs an attack, she is able to announce it, and basically because of her pride as a legendary knight, she is going to then attack on behalf of the miss that just occurred.
Nice.
Yes!
And I'm going to do Vanguard.
No! Oh my god.
I'd like to pridefall myself.
Oh, wow.
I got a 1.
Yeah, so Layla, attempting to one-up Junk in this moment, does an incredible whiff of her own. She runs at it with her shield, puts it under her feet, and she flies towards the cockatrice. The cockatrice does exactly the same move in succession, stands up and does the splits, and Layla sails underneath the cockatrice and collides with the water tower, breaking the water tower as she does this move, dousing the flames that Adeline started. Water just goes everywhere.
I meant to do that.
Layla takes a tumble for 1 damage on the other side of the roof, catching herself fairly epically, but no one's around to see it. She is now on the other side of this trading post with a broken water tower next to her.
Boy.
It is Motson's turn.
Motson reaches into his cloak and pulls out the ancient bottle of unknown liquor that he got back in the brewery. And he looks at it and he says, I was really hoping to save this for a special occasion. I guess this is as good as any. I want to throw the bottle at the bird, hoping when it bursts that the alcohol catches fire and causes more damage.
This is an athletics for your ability to throw it.
8.
Motson pulls the ancient, mysterious alcohol bottle from his pack and chucks it at the cockatrice. It lands right beneath the cockatrice's foot, and on contact, an unusual reaction occurs. dozens of red-capped mushrooms begin to sprout up all over the rooftop, causing the cockatrice to leap away to avoid the mushrooms growing onto it. And it lands on the earth directly in front of the party.
All right, that was not what I was expecting to happen.
Well, I mean, it's low enough for me to hit now. Plus, those mushrooms look absolutely delicious. So I would say it was a smashing success, Matson.
Adeline gets to act again.
Adeline is feeling it. She is in a lot of pain, but she's grimacing through it, and she's actually this time going to aim with a Hydra poison arrow instead. Yeah, that'd be a crit fail for 1.
Oh, boy.
Jeez Louise.
Adeline withdraws her Hydra arrow and fumbles it. It flies up in the air, falls backwards, and lands right on Kelber Orny, which would have poisoned him if he wasn't stoned. That arrow is retrievable and sitting next to Orny if she wants it back.
I got this. I'm going to kill this bitch with my vanguard like I had previously claimed I was trying, but really I meant to put that tower out. So here I go. 9.
It's a 9 to hit.
3 + 5, 8.
You just see her hobbling out from the other side of the building, sopping wet. She readies her shield again, jumps towards the cockatrice, mounts her shield, slides up over the cockatrice's wings, then launches herself in the air and kicks the shield down towards the back of the cockatrice's neck for 16 damage.
I'll take it.
Because that is double fire, double shield.
Mm-hmm.
She finishes her move after this kick by tumbling forward and is now facing the cockatrice directly with the rest of the party again. Everyone again needs to respond with a saving throw.
15 for Junk.
14 for Adeline.
5 for Monson.
8.
The cockatrice begins flapping its wings, and this motion draws some of the party members into its direct radius, this specifically being Matson and Layla. And once they get close enough to the cockatrice, it lashes out with both of its talons for 3 damage each. Ah! Now it's Junk's turn to act.
Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Junk is going to grab onto that warhammer, rush this beast, and enact Rage Wind. That's a 16 for 1, but it's +5 still, so for 6.
Junk runs in. He yells,
Get out of the way!
as he strikes the cockatrice. +6, +6, +6 for 18 damage, striking heavily into its body. The cockatrice responds by backing slightly away to the side, crashing into the side of the trading post and nearly making the building collapse as it dents into it. It is now Matson's turn to act.
So Monson, being frightened from the terrifying attack he just endured, runs back towards Orny and wants to also de-stonify him with the wand.
Let's give us an athletics for that.
5 once again.
He does a dive roll away from the cockatrice, stands up, pulls out the wand again, points it at Orny. Orny feels that soft wind blow, and he gasps. Oh, good, everyone's all right. Oh, that's a giant fucking cock. And it is Layla's turn, because when Layla uses Pridefall, she assumes the initiative order of the person that she replaced and jumps ahead of line. So Layla is next.
I'm going to do a vanguard on this bitch.
I am very grateful.
My d20 is a 5 and a 3.
Perhaps because the cockatrice is anticipating this very attack, when Layla comes up to dropkick the cockatrice, it sort of tilts its head to one side, and Layla glances off of its face, slides up and over the cockatrice, landing behind it at its flank and only delivering 3 damage.
Kill this thing.
It is Adeline's turn to act.
Adeline quickly dives to retrieve the poison arrow she misfired last time, and in one motion draws it back and fires it at the cockatrice's head. 8 and then 4 times 2. So 8 and 8.
So Adeline fires her Hydra poison arrow at the cockatrice. It lands squarely in its neck, coursing poison through its veins for 8 damage, with lasting poison damage from here on out.
Nice.
It is now the cockatrice's turn, and everyone, again, but Layla, must roll a saving throw.
11.
12 for Monson.
4.
The cockatrice again utilizes its stone gaze, wafting a smoky haze across the battlefield. When it clears, now only Adeline has been turned to cold, lifeless stone.
Oh, well, that's a good story, too, I guess.
Crap, says Orny. Here, I have something very special that I've been holding on to for quite some time. Are you guys ready?
Good God, yes.
Orny pulls out a potion from like deep within his bandolier. He raises this one up into the air and smashes it to the ground right in front of him. This very peculiar smoke wafts in front of him. Oh yeah, this one's gonna take a little moment. Everyone, this is gonna be really cool. Just gonna take a moment. And it is Matson's turn to act again.
I guess I'll keep saving people. I'm just such a nice guy, and I
As he's historically known.
I'm gonna point the wand at Adeline, but this time I feel like I'm getting better at this whole magic thing, even though like I'm not really doing anything. I'm just thinking about it. But I'm like when I do it like more confidently than I have been doing.
Yeah, with a cocksure shoulder shimmy, you withdraw your wand and point it at Adeline. Life returns to her, and it is Layla's turn to act next.
So help me God, I'm bringing this cockatoo down, and I'm doing it from a distance. Come on, little Drake. Natty 20.
Nice.
Woo! 2 and 3 plus 2, 5, year.
Yeah, okay. With that, Layla lifts her hand in the air like she just doesn't care, but she really does. And her mystical Drake friend flies from her gauntlet and punishes the cockatrice with another line of blue flames. The cockatrice yelps and leaps across the moat, licking its wounds. And it's Adeline's turn to act.
Yeah, I'm just going to shoot a regular arrow. 10 for 4.
So, Adeline doesn't even have to factor in the cockatrice's potential movement as she fires her arrow. The cockatrice is on its last legs. Its wing is broken. Adeline's arrow lands directly in the center of the cockatrice's throat, the glandular source of the cockatrice's power. It squawks one last moment before it, like so many of its victims, starts to turn to stone.
Yeah, good job, Adeline. Taste of his own medicine.
Yeah.
No sooner is this done that Orny's potion comes to fruition, and the misty visage of a rooster appears. Having come out of his potion, and lets out a cock-a-doodle-doo before turning into smoke. And Orny just was like, "That's what it was going to do." It's if we had wait, it's not that we could wait, but. Good job, Adeline.
Sorry.
Matson collapses to the ground, thankful that this nightmare is over.
Adeline turns to Matson. I get your feelings now on birds. I hate them.
Right?
I'm just so mad we can't eat it. I'm so hungry.
You know what? I would have eaten that bird.
Junk holds the tiny stone scampersan out to Matson.
Work your magic.
I don't know if I want to.
Very funny, Matson. Come on, fix him.
Scampersan, the agent of Rasa? Maybe he's best in the stone form.
Junk is a little caught off guard. He gets a little angry.
Technically, I'm an agent of Rasa. Was I better in stone form, Matson? Why didn't you leave me that way?
He steps a little closer, posturing.
I'll take that wand if I have to.
All right, enough. Junk, you don't mean that.
Great. More of that demon rage.
That comment stops Junk in his tracks, and he looks over to Orny, relaxes his shoulders, looks back to Matson.
Come on. Please, turn him back.
All right. Matson lifts his hand, thinks about it, points the wand.
Wow. I don't know if I've ever been that close to death before. That was quite frightful. Thank you, boss. Thanks for bringing me back.
Matson is the one with the magic wand, little buddy. He's the one to thank. It's too bad he can't hear you.
I'd give him a pound.
And the squirrel holds out his squirrel fist, hoping for Matson to reciprocate with a pound.
Matson walks away.
So cute.
Orny turns over to Layla. Layla, I am just so impressed. Your amazing combat skills, your leadership, your prowess.
Beauty.
Oh, well, that goes without saying.
But say it.
You are quite radiantly stunning, and any gnome would be happy to have you as a sex partner.
I would stick you on my lawn any night.
I have a suggestion for you as someone who was wishing to, what was it you said earlier, reclaim your legacy. Mm-hmm. I don't think you should worry about the assholes who are up in King's Promise who do not appreciate you for the warrior that you are. I would suggest, given the onslaught that the Gnome Empire is planning, would you consider venturing to Silverhammer and lending your aid in their time of crisis?
You mean there's a city of little men just like you?
Oh, yeah, there are dwarves, there are gnomes, and even half-elves.
I'm getting there now.
Thank you very much. And if you run into our friend, King Caius Falcon III, please say hi to him. He's a standard-sized man who has musculature and is standardly good-looking, but, you might get along with him as well.
Let's see. Layla dips him and kisses him.
Ooh!
You have never seen him blush before. Nothing has ever made him blush, but his cheeks are rosy like Santa Claus right now. Oh.
To all of you, I thank you for venturing out of the cave with me and destroying these two beasts. I hope you found some nifty rhymes to tell a bard on my behalf. I hope I see you soon.
You as well.
You too. Thank you so much for your help.
Good luck.
And with that, you watch Layla start to run into a sprint, and she handily leaps across that moat. She just lands on her shield and begins to skateboard away down, on these beautiful rolling hills westward towards Silverhammer.
Adeline just kind of stares off in admiration. I'll miss her.
Ah, damn it, I should have got that soup recipe from her.
Ah, what a shame. Well, shall we check out this trading post, Orny? Orny.
Sorry, I was just thinking about that woman's tongue down my throat.
You really met your match there, Orny.
I really did. As much as I talk about my memories of interacting with other people, it's been a while since I've been kissed like that.
Aw. Well, I'm glad you found love, even if briefly.
That wasn't love. So naive. All right, let's go inside this trading post.
Junk puts his warhammer on his back and heads towards the door.
And I would like to break off a piece of that mushroom that grew.
Yeah, there are several red-capped mushrooms that don't seem really miraculous on their own to you.
So, the party walks into the building, and I want to immediately roll for perception. That's a crit fail.
Adeline walks inside and would have been able to see everything inside, but she trips over a beautiful circular straw rug that is right in the doorway, just catching her toes, and she plants looking down. I think this is the first time anyone's ever hurt themselves on a perception check, but you managed it for a -1.
Oh, no.
I just lay there, kind of defeated.
Junk steps over her as he walks into the building, and I would immediately roll a perception.
Thanks a lot, Junk.
It's a 7.
Looking around the space, there's light coming in from the windows, and you can see to your left and to your right, there are 2 small sitting tables that are each set with a ancient dwarven game of chess. Ahead of you, there are 2 Gondra flags. There is a ancient Sibylan trading flag. There's an ancient gnome trading flag. There's an ancient elven trading flag. And they are all standing in a row in front of little booths, sort of like the bank, like teller spaces where one would interact with traders in this space. There's an empty chest beyond it and what appears from your angle to be a locked, ironed-in cage that would house all of the items that were traded in this space so that people can just steal them.
Oh, this isn't like any trading post I've ever been in. So fancy.
And Junk walks over to the gated area.
The door has actually been bashed open. It looked like an adventurer or someone who didn't give a shit about preserving the sanctity of this place, used a statue of someone who had been turned to stone to bash open the door. God. And the head is just broken off of it, and it's laying in the ground in the space with the bent open iron door.
Brutal.
Junk groans at this, and then I walk into the space to see if there is anything in there or if the person who did bash this in has taken everything.
In the space, you find 2 empty chests, and you know they're empty because they are open and scoured clean. There is a shelf, however, in the middle of the space and a cabinet. And to your left, there are a bunch of pelts from tundra wolves that are all stacked in the corner.
Junk reaches out and grabs one of the tundra pelts and is examining it.
So what exactly you were hoping to find in here, Orny?
Oh, something that would speak to the ancient trade relations between the dwarves and the elves of the region. Something that would help us when we approach the elves so that they don't throw spears or sticks or who knows what at us.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
I assume Shell's Basin might have occupied one of these booths.
Oh, I would assume that would have been the main trading booth over here in the corner. And he walks over towards the trading desk, but it has like a door on the side. And he's short enough that he can walk beneath it, hitting the tip of his hat. He walks in there and gives the area a sweep. He finds another empty chest inside and nothing of note in that region. Oh, it looks like all of this has been picked clean in here. Anything on those shelves or those cabinets in that junk?
Junk turns around and in this brief period of time, he has taken off his pauldron and has put on the wolf pelt because he, let's not forget, still has no shirt. He destroyed his shirt in the throne room after being healed by Rasa. And so he is using this pelt to sort of replace his shirt, and he's put his pauldron back on over it. So now he is sort of a furry Junk.
Oh, Junk, you remind me of a friend that I used to know who, before he would have me pound him, he would dress up like a furry wolf.
That's a weird thing to do before somebody beats you up. But anyways, I'm going to check out these cabinets.
Yeah, the cabinet is carved stone with a heavy metal lock. The shelves are loaded with a number of curiosities. There are 2 petrified, unidentifiable eggs. There is a small statue, a jug of ancient spirits, and a blow dart loaded with a single dart. Scampersand takes notice of the small statue, and it prompts him to whisper in your ear.
Hey, boss, you gotta destroy that thing.
What? Wait, the statue? Why?
Don't you know that's a statue of Darkshaleen?
Oh, really? I remember you told me about her.
Yeah, she's Rasa's rival goddess.
Yeah, the Silent Sisters worship her, right?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, I kind of owe her one, I guess.
Yeah, she's goddess of shadows. You'd please Rasa greatly if you destroyed it.
Junk picks up the statue and he examines it closely.
You know, Scampersand, I like you. I really do. You're fast and fearless and fun and frisky. You're furry and fashionable, of course. Yeah, there are a few finer. I really do consider you a friend.
Thank you. You're gonna destroy it?
Well, like a friend, I hope you'll forgive.
And then he pockets the statue.
The action of you doing this fills you with pain, and I need you to give me a saving roll.
It's a natural 20.
Natural 20. Despite the inordinate amount of pain that you feel, you do not take any health damage. Scampersand, however, winces, and it looks like he feels the pain as well.
I really don't like you doing that, boss.
Sorry.
Junk picks up the blow dart that's on the shelf and is examining it.
Hey, guys, there's some cool stuff over here. Check it out.
Adeline walks over and immediately notices the liquor and pockets that. And she also examines these eggs, and I want to roll a knowledge for it. Crit fail.
Oh, boy. So Adeline should know what these eggs are, but maybe it's because she hit her head too many times. She has no idea what's going on.
Well, I put them in my bag anyway. I'll look at them again later.
Matson, if you wouldn't mind, I would love it if you would pick this lock on this cabinet over here.
Yeah, I'll take a crack at it. 3?
Yeah, this is a pretty tough lock. So you are about to pick the lock, but then you notice you're about to break your prized lock pick when you attempt it.
Ugh. Hey, Junk.
Yeah?
Why don't you bring your hammer over here?
Alrighty.
I walk over.
What's up?
Why don't you pick that lock with your hammer?
I don't think my hammer would fit in that little hole.
Just knock it off.
You knock it off.
No, take your hammer and knock off the lock.
I see what you were doing, Matson.
I mean, he might even be able to pick up the cabinet, just crash it across the ground.
Well, I mean, no. If Matson wants it bashed, then I'll bash it open.
Junk is now like overcompensating for the little tiff earlier with Matson over Scampersand. He's trying to be really buddy-buddy because he feels bad. And he's going to raise his warhammer really high over his head. And in an attempt to be funny and cute, he he wants to bring it down really quick and heavy, but then right at the last minute, stop before the little lock and like tap it open because he thinks it'll be funny. He's like doing a bit. That's a 3.
So when Junk's hammer comes down, it slips from his grasp at the last minute, and he ends up bashing a hole into this very well-constructed dwarven cabinet.
He's going to just play it off like that's what he meant to do.
Oops.
But hey, now there's a hole.
I'm going to reach in there and see what I find.
Give me a saving throw.
Oh, boy. That's a 6.
Ooh, you feel an uncomfortable pinch at the end of your fingers, and when you withdraw your hand, you find attached to it is a mechanical spider trap.
Ow, cool.
It has taken 1 damage from you, but now that the trap has been set off, it is now inert.
Adeline cautiously puts her hand in now.
Yeah, reaching around, Adeline can find a leather-bound file that is beneath there and successfully pulls it out.
I found this. She holds up the leather-bound file and starts to open it, see what's inside.
Yes, looking inside the file, she finds that it is written in Old Common Tongue, which is difficult for her to read as someone who's not from this region.
Orny, do you think you could...
Way ahead of you. Yeah.
Great, here you go.
Orny takes the file from you and says, "Oh, perfect. This is exactly what I came for. This and that crazy trinket that's on your finger." Just kidding. That thing's silly. And he looks at the trade agreement and says, "Oh, this is really good news. It says that there is a peaceable agreement between the people of Valkyrie and the people of Shell's Basin, and that they will come to each other's aid in times of need."
That's fantastic.
That means that when we get there, they won't throw spears and rocks at us like you said?
So long as we use this trade agreement like a shield in front of our faces.
Junk, I really like your fur you have here.
Thanks. You know, I've been a little chilly since my shirt was destroyed, and I don't know, I think it kind of suits me.
It does.
Thank you.
I might grab one too. It might come in handy.
They're in varying shades of grayish blue.
Is there one more blue than gray?
There is one more blue than gray.
That's the one she grabs.
Great.
Now, Matson grabs one too.
Well, if there's nothing else here, we should be on our way.
Yeah, I think we probably should make our way over to Valkyrie.
Junk exits the post, and as he gets outside, he turns to see the pike that he accidentally threw into the roof during the battle.
I know I told you to throw it, but I at least thought you'd hit the thing with it.
Yeah, sorry, Addie.
I mean, look how pretty it is as it glistens in the sun on the roof, covered in mushrooms.
Okay, all right, I'll go get it.
You will?
And then Junk is going to take 20 to get this pike off of the roof.
Great. While you're doing that, Orny is inside, and Orny grabs the ancient elven trading flag as well and puts it into the file. He's like, just in case they're a bunch of sentimental jerks. And when Orny exits, he exits just in time to see Junk falling from the roof in a clumsily, but with the pike in hand.
Hey guys, why don't you go up on ahead? I'm going to relieve myself real quick.
Ooh, have fun with your BM.
And Monson kind of waits for them to get a little bit away. Their backs are turned. He takes out the egg girl and kind of unravels her from the wrap that she's kind of in. And he puts it on the ground, and he slowly takes out the magic wand that he's been using. And he just thinks for a moment and puts the magic wand back, takes the egg, wraps it up, and goes and catches up.
And that is a good enough spot as any to wrap this chapter up. What a adventure. Sarah, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Oh my gosh, Layla
so
was
much
incredible.
for joining. Layla is an absolute badass. And I hope that she...
I hope we see her in Silverhammer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really. Or, I hope she
see.
finds a little love. And I mean
Aw.
that very specifically.
Very little love.
She's going to have a gnome orgy.
Because let me tell you, Layla thirsty.
She was
And
trapped
hungry.
in a cave.
She wasn't just hungry or thirsty, but thirsty.
She was thirsty.
So, Paul, what do we earn for our outing this day?
For slaying the mighty cockatrice, you guys all pick up another 300 experience points.
I felt like that was a bigger than 300 beast, but all right, if you say so, you're the boss.
Given the several easy ways that you could have defeated it that you guys didn't do,
Listen, taking the easy way is never the decisions of our party. That's never our party's way. So that makes it
3850.
3850. Well, this happened. Thank you guys so much for listening. Just for a little bit of that business, make sure you're following at D&DW Pod on all social media. Make sure you visit dndwpod.com for extras. There's character art and maps and some bonus stuff that you might not be seeing or hearing if you are just following us on social media or just listening to the podcast feed. That's right, even if you're following us on social media, you might not be seeing everything that we post. For example, selections out of Paul's notebooks that he takes, which are just super awesome. Additional art, sheets from shopping, all sorts of good stuff. So make sure you're checking out dndwpod.com. While you're there, click that contact button. Shoot us an email. Tell us what you think of the show. Tell us your experiences with D&D, and we'll read them, and we'll interact, and we'll answer questions all on our roundtable episodes. Also, check out the shop. That is right. The Dragon Wagon Radio shop is open, and there are tons of cool D&DW pod shirts. You can get a fantastic vintage-looking Rymore shirt as if you were there at a state park. It's one of my favorites. There's a lot of great designs in there, and check back regularly for new designs as stuff constantly gets cycled out. And last but certainly not least, you know how much we love those iTunes ratings and reviews. So please throw us a rating and review on iTunes. You will be automatically entered to win one of our roundtable giveaways, and it is a great way to just support the show because ratings and reviews mean higher listings on the charts and means more organic listeners. So thank you once again so much for listening. We really do sincerely appreciate you joining us on this adventure, and I sincerely hope that you are enjoying listening as much as we are enjoying playing. Alexandra, say goodbye to the people.
So long.
Matthew.
Bye.
Sarah.
Night-night.
Paul.
Yeah.
On behalf of everybody here at Dungeons and Dragon Wagon, we will see you next quest.
It's Dragon Wagon.
So I'm going to use Drake Flame.
And that is a flame in the shape of a Canadian rapper, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
And I still need to do 20.
Call me on my cell phone.